Ladies and gentlemen, fellow seekers across the United Kingdom and beyond, I ask you today to pause, not just physically, but inwardly, and consider a question that may very well alter the course of your life. Is God trying to tell you something? In a world bustling with noise, distractions, and deadlines, divine messages often come not in thunder, but in whispers. Yet many miss them, simply because they're not watching, not listening, not open. And yet, the yearning for meaning, so deeply embedded in the British soul, shaped by centuries of faith, philosophy, and literature, presses us to examine these signals. SLewis, one of our greatest intellectuals and beloved Christian apologists, reminded us that life is not just a series of accidents or coincidences, but a canvas painted by the hand of a creator who wants to speak, guide, and redeem. This talk is not about religion in the traditional sense. It's about relationship, about knowing that if God created you, then He most certainly has something to say to you. And more than that, He's been saying it, perhaps all along. So what are the signs? How does God communicate when He wants to break through the surface of our daily lives? Based on the wisdom of SLewis and the truths of the Christian worldview, let's explore 5 powerful signs that may indicate God is trying to speak to you, and what you should do when those signs appear. Sign number 1, disruption, when life no longer makes sense. Lewis once wrote, "God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pain. It is His megaphone to rouse a deaf world." Think about that. The pain you're experiencing right now, the heartbreak, the job loss, the illness, the loneliness. Could it be more than just misfortune? Could it be a message? When life no longer makes sense, we instinctively ask, why? And often, that very question becomes the doorway to the divine. Lewis's own life was marked by deep disruption. He lost his mother at a young age, endured the horrors of World War I, and lived much of his early life as an atheist. But in time, through the pain, through the brokenness, he found the God he thought didn't exist. And later, when he lost his beloved wife Joy to cancer, he wrote, "Pain is not only immediately recognizable, it is unmistakable, and that is precisely why God uses it." Disruption is often God's intervention. It's a divine redirection, not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants to help you build your life on what truly matters. So if your life feels shattered or uncertain, maybe it's not falling apart, maybe it's falling into place. Sign number 2, restlessness, the ache you can't ignore. There's something deeply British about the quiet ache of the soul, the longing, the melancholy, the sense that something is missing. We feel it in our literature, from Shakespeare to Tolkien. But Lewis captured it most clearly when he wrote, "If I find in myself desires which nothing in this world can satisfy, the only logical explanation is that I was made for another world." That ache, that's not failure. It's not brokenness. It's a signal, a holy hunger. It's God's fingerprint on your soul. And the restlessness you feel, that dissatisfaction with your career, with your relationships, with the pursuit of pleasure, isn't something to silence. It's something to follow. You weren't made for a life of mere survival. You were made for purpose, for eternity. And when everything else fails to satisfy, it might be because God is the only one who can. Just as a car is made to run on petrol, the human soul is made to run on God. And when we try to fuel our lives with anything less, money, fame, sex, power, we stall, we sputter, we break down. That restlessness is not your enemy. It's your compass. Let it guide you home. Sign number 3, divine encounters, people, words, and moments that stir you. Have you ever heard a sermon, read a book, or even overheard a conversation on the tube that seemed to speak directly to your situation? Or perhaps a stranger offered you kindness, a song played at just the right moment, or a childhood memory resurfaced with sudden clarity. Lewis would say, these are not accidents. They're divine encounters. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, when Lucy first meets Mr. Tumnus, it's not a coincidence. It's part of Aslan's plan. Similarly, when we encounter something, or someone, that stirs our soul, it might just be God at work. These moments may seem small, but small things often carry big messages. God doesn't always speak through thunder or angels. Often, He uses ordinary moments to deliver extraordinary truths. He uses nature, art, kindness, literature, and conversation. The question is, are you paying attention? Lewis was once a hardened atheist, but through friendships with people like J.R.R. Tolkien and through stories, reason, and beauty, his heart began to soften. God spoke to him through others, and he still does that today. So the next time something grabs your attention and stirs your soul, pause. Ask, what is God trying to say here? Sign number 4, repetition, when the same message keeps appearing. Lewis believed that God often uses patterns to teach us. When you see the same message over and over again, in different forms, from different people, in different contexts, it's time to take notice. Repetition is often divine emphasis. Is there a message that keeps coming up in your life? Perhaps it's forgiveness, or courage, or letting go. Maybe it's a call to move on from a toxic relationship, to return to church, or to use your gifts. Whatever the theme, when it keeps showing up, it's not random, it's revelation. Think about the people in your life. What are they saying to you? What have you read or watched lately that spoke to your spirit? What dreams or thoughts won't go away? God speaks persistently because he loves persistently. He's not just trying to get your attention once. He's trying to draw you into transformation. C.S. Lewis often found himself haunted by themes in mythology and literature, stories of dying and rising gods, heroic sacrifice, and unseen worlds. Eventually, he realized these were not just stories. They were shadows of a deeper story, the story of Christ. So don't ignore the repetition. Embrace it. Explore it. Follow it. WER. Conclusion. What will you do with the message? So, is God trying to tell you something? Have you experienced disruption, restlessness, divine encounters, repetition, or awakening? If so, the message is clear. God is calling you. Not to judge you, not to shame you, but to awaken you, to free you, to love you. The British mind, shaped by skepticism and reason, often resists the mystical. But C.S. Lewis combined reason and wonder, logic and faith, philosophy and the supernatural. And he found God not in spite of those things, but through them. His journey can be yours too. Don't wait for perfect circumstances or a voice from heaven. If you sense the signs, respond. Pray. Seek. Ask. Listen. Read. Talk. God is not hiding from you. He's reaching for you. Lewis put it this way. The hardness of God is kinder than the softness of men, and his compulsion is our liberation. That disruption in your life, it might be your liberation. That restlessness in your soul, it might be the beginning of peace. That repeated message, it might be your rescue. That hunger for truth, it might be your homecoming. So I leave you with this. Be still. Pay attention. Watch for the signs. And when God speaks, answer.